you're probably wondering what was a typical day like when I was working in the city and fasting. So a typical day, it starts in the evening. So there are these prayers during Ramadan called Tarawih prayers where they tend to last anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. So you would go to those and they start at about 10:30 p.m. So I would go to the Tarawih prayers, and that would be I would leave the house and then pray, and then anywhere between 10 p.m. to midnight. Come home at midnight, and then you would try and get some sleep. So anywhere between an hour to 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And then you would wake up, make sure you eat your meal for the next day's fast, drink as much water as you can, and then you would go to sleep. That would mean going to sleep at about 4 a.m. And then I would need to wake up at 7:30 a.m. So that's 3.5 to 4.5 hours of sleep in that second chunk of sleep, and the first chunk would be a nap of an hour or two. In total, it would be about 6 hours of sleep, broken up into 2 separate periods. Now, wake up at 7:30, get ready for work, leave the house, get into the office at about 8:30 a.m. And usually I would go into the office and I might go to the canteen and grab breakfast. However, during Ramadan, I don't really eat anything, so there's no need to get off the desk and go to breakfast. So you are more productive, but at the same time, you're very hungry, you can get thirsty, and your body needs food, energy to kind of allow it to operate more efficiently. It's all okay until you get to lunchtime and you're just sat on your desk. You haven't had a reason to get up and go to the bathroom because there's nothing that needs to come out. You haven't got a reason to get up and go to the coffee or tea area or the kitchen to grab anything because you can't eat. And there's no reason to go outside to the shops or to the coffee shop, whatever it might be. And so most of your time is pretty much on the desk. However, during lunchtimes, what I would do, and I advise any interns or any graduates or any workers to do this, get off your desk, go outside, get some fresh air. Where we worked, the Goldman offices were there's like a river, so there's nice water to go and walk by. I used to just go for a walk there, or I would meet up with a friend or two and just go for a nice little stroll. Now, that makes it easier. You don't need to stare at your colleagues to your left and right who are scoffing their faces with their lunch. And keep in mind, a lot of people are respectful. They try not to eat in front of your face, or they apologize when they're eating, but it has no impact in the sense where if someone's eating next to me, it doesn't really bother me. So I was completely fine with that. But people are quite understanding, so don't think that you have to stay on your desk. If you're fasting, get up, go walk around. Top tip, keep a toothbrush and toothpaste in your drawer, so because your breath can get a bit smelly sometimes because you're not drinking too much water or enough water, and so it's always good to kind of have that mouth freshened here and there, especially if you've got any client meetings. Now, I would work. If you haven't seen a day in the life of a Goldman Sachs analyst, check this video. It will highlight a typical day. So that would be the usual, even when I'm fasting, and then the day would end anywhere. It really varies. It would end anywhere between 6, 7, 8 p.m. Sometimes even later, sometimes just around 6 p.m. at the earliest. Now, I would get home and then literally wait for the fast for sunset, so 8 p.m, 9 p.m, and then break my fast. And then after I eat, it would be head to the mosque, go and do the evening prayer, and then you repeat the whole cycle again. Now, sometimes if I was working late, I would be in the office, and then I would break my fast in the office. So go to the canteen at 8 p.m. or at the appropriate time for sunset, which is when you break your fast, get the food, bring it to my desk, and just scoff my face with it. And just eat there, and then get a taxi home, and then go to the prayer, and then repeat. So that's a typical day when you're fasting and when you're working in the world of banking. So it's tricky because one, it's summer, so it's hot, but two, obviously working in a high demanding job where you need to be out and about, you need to be on the ball constantly, and there's lots of things going on, there's lots of balls to juggle whilst you haven't got any food in your stomach or any water to keep you hydrated. It can prove, or it can seem quite tricky, but once you get used to it, it's actually a walk in the park. The days kind of fly by. The key trick for me was to just keep myself busy, make sure I've got lots of things going on, and that 1 or 2 walk in the afternoon. Those really, sorry, those walks really helped me just get that fresh air and just embrace the tranquility that your body is going through, and see it as a detox period, because over that month your body kind of, like right now I'm fasting, it's Ramadan right now, and like I'm losing weight. Some people lose weight during Ramadan, some people put on weight. But I've been meaning to lose weight, and so far it's going good. It's an opportunity and a month to kind of detox and find that tranquility and connection between you and your faith. And it's weird when you abstain from something that you love, in this case food. It can really show you how strong your willpower can be. So I personally love it. I look forward to the month of Ramadan every year, and you shouldn't let your career or work hinder the benefits that this month has to offer. Don't be afraid to ask your team for flexibility. Like my wife last year, she was fasting and she has a good relationship with her manager, so she was like, is it okay if I come in just after 9 a.m. rather than getting in at 8 a.m. and work a bit later? Companies and good managers will fully allow that, because they would rather want a happy and productive employee as opposed to someone who isn't being as productive and as happy as they could be. So don't let that deter you from asking your manager to be a bit more flexible with your work schedule when you're fasting. Also, a lot of individuals, whether they're Muslim or not, whether they are fasting or not, they have a lot of individuals are open-minded. So if it means after Eid you will bring in some treats to let them know about Eid and Ramadan, do that. Or even throughout Ramadan, bring in treats for them, tell them about why you're fasting, what it means to fast, some of the challenges you're going through, if any. Just have a conversation, raise awareness, give an insight, and it's all interesting to people. If they don't want to hear it, you'll get the sign, you'll get the message. But don't have any worries or concerns about being yourself and embracing your religion at work, because at the end of the day, if you have issues doing that, and if you can't be yourself at work, then clearly that's not the right working environment for you. Hopefully, if you're fasting, I've been able to give you some tips and some advice to make your day easier at work in the city or for a large corporate. And if you aren't fasting or if you don't observe Ramadan, then hopefully you found this video insightful and you've learned a thing or two. Do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed any of the content. Make sure you please subscribe to the channel, because without you there wouldn't be a weekly upload from me. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.